All right, Big Mac, today is Thursday, September 5th, Chicago Dog Walk. Guest of the day is Captain Cons, the co-host of Zero Block 30, Barstool's military podcast. Cons, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, Eddie. Let me tell you, I am excited. Number one, Bang Bang. I told you from Jump Street, I was like, Eddie, put that on a T-shirt. When you say Bang Bang, I get excited. I like it. But the reason I'm excited is because I love when I have an opportunity to be part of content at Barstool that I consume myself. So I listen to the show every day. I don't miss it. You have had some interesting characters, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Love it. We're very happy to have you. I'm glad you're a listener. That's great. You know, people who understand the show and everything. So that's why it's like, yeah, absolutely. When I come through town, obviously I'm in New York right now. I'm like, you got to come on the show. We'll find a topic. And I mean, so is it the military podcast? Obviously, you went to West Point. So we have like literally a smart guy on here right now.
Well, either that or I got everybody fooled. Either way.
How about, do they take people because of football? Do they do the old average out move?
I mean, we get people in who maybe would have a harder time getting in without football or any sport for that matter. But I think getting you in the door is one thing. Being able to survive and get a degree is a different thing. So
definitely, I know about that. Like I said, one of my best friends went there. It's a grinder, man. The whole mini fridge is a privilege. And year 2 or year 3 is just a wild ride. But I know you probably talk about that every day on their podcast. What does ZBT come out?
ZBT comes out Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you're right. I am also number 2 reason excited. I like to talk about topics other than the military sometimes.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about. We were kind of going back and forth. We're like, should we do 90s movies? Should we pick a genre? And ultimately, we landed on John Hughes movies.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're a big fan.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago guy John Hughes. Like,
right.
Obviously, all in on him, and just, I mean, he is. Does he get enough credit for being like the ultimate teen movie guy? Like,
yeah, I think he introduced the teen genre in the 80s. I think anybody who knows movies, if you had Rear Ad sitting here with us, he would know who John Hughes. I think you say John Hughes to an average Joe walking down the street, they may not know, but I don't think you can run down John Hughes's filmography of movies and have people not know at least a few of them.
No, there's no way, because right off the bat, I mean, Breakfast Club and which we're going to get into at Ferris Bueller. Like, if you're not at least somewhat familiar with either of those,
right,
you're on another planet.
I mean, listen to his list of movies. It started in 1982 with Class Reunion. Never saw that, but he goes Mr. Mom, Vacation. Then he goes 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, European Vacation, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, She's Having a Baby, Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Dutch, Curly Sue, and then it goes on from there. But I mean, that is just a murderer's row lineup of movies.
It's incredible. It really is. So what do you think? What's the best way to gather around this? Do we want to talk about like our top 3 or our top 5? Do we just want to go through a couple of them? What do you think?
I would like to hear what your top 3 John Hughes movies are.
My top 3. Okay, so obviously I am instantly throwing Ferris Bueller in there.
Right. Chicago. I mean, that puts Chicago in just an all-time great spotlight.
Oh, beautiful. Like that Wrigley Field scene where he's just sitting there, he gets the foul ball, and you know, right after that's I forget if it's either the principal or his father, like just like asks what the score is. It's just an incredible scene.
Nothing. And I think that's a great example, starting out with Ferris Bueller. I think that's a great example of why people love John Hughes movies so much, is because they're so relatable, especially for teenagers. Who among us doesn't want to ditch school in high school one day, senior year, and just have a whole day to themselves? Go to the ballpark, go to a nice lunch, go to a museum, see the city, be in a parade. It's just, that is something that everyone can imagine. So I think that's why you relate to it. And it's interesting, if you look at all of his movies, they're all pretty much set in the Midwest. And he always felt like that was more relatable to more people than if it had been in Hollywood or in New York City.
Encino, yeah, something like that.
Right, because if you're a kid growing up in Chicago or Nebraska or Indiana, these countries, the Midwest, you can't really picture what life is like in New York City.
For sure.
But you can certainly picture, what life is like in some of the movies he's made.
For sure. So I haven't looked, I've never actually ranked them myself, but let's do top 5. Let's go 5 for 5 and we'll go down the list.
Sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
No. I agree though. That was a great way to start it. So I kind of, in my 5th spot, I want to go Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Great. Love it.
A lot of people think, is that one of the only Thanksgiving movies there is?
No, you know what's funny? The only other Thanksgiving movie I can think of is another John Hughes movie.
Which is that one?
Dutch.
Okay.
With Ed O'Neill.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, you have to.
Yeah.
It's Ed O'Neill is dating this woman, and he agrees to go pick up the woman's son at boarding school down in Georgia and drive him back to Chicago that week. And they thought, road trip, what better way to bond with someone? And just all, the kid hates him in the beginning, and then they encounter some troubles, and then they really have to come together, and they obviously grow to develop a relationship, and it's very funny along the way. And most people only know Ed O'Neill now for, Modern Family. Obviously before that, Married with Children, but this was a really good movie that Ed O'Neill did.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out then.
Yes.
And full disclosure, I'm going to put this out there too. I have not seen the Molly Ringwald ones. Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles. I have not seen either of them. So they're off my board, unfortunately, because I haven't seen them. But yeah, I'll let you go and take your 5th spot.
My 5th spot, I'll start with the one I just mentioned. And these are in no particular order. I'll just say Dutch. It's funny, and I'm sure any child of divorce really relates well to that movie, especially when you're 12, 13, 14. You have a new person that's introduced to your life, and seemingly like a father figure, your automatic assumption is that you're going to hate the guy. And as I said, Ed O'Neill is extremely funny, and it's a great holiday movie.
Definitely. I mean, now that you said it like that, I absolutely have to see it. So you're going Dutch in the 5 spot.
Yes.
But we're not ranking these.
Well, if you want to rank them, we can rank them. For loosely. Me, they're all basically on the same level.
Yeah. No, I got you. And so I guess we're just going through with I don't know, most memorable, what's it kind of in our head now. So whatever. 5 movies that we really enjoy. How about that?
This is free flowing.
Yeah, exactly. So number 4, I'm going to go with probably Uncle Buck, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got Uncle Buck on my list too.
Yeah. I mean, dude, so obviously another very Chicago movie. His apartment is literally on the corner over there on I think it's Sheffield and Waveland.
Okay.
And he just unbelievable that corner apartment, and it's right by Wrigley Field. And I don't know, just the big pancake, him just
You should see the toast. I couldn't even fit it in the door.
Yeah, exactly. Just seeing the drill scene when he scares the boyfriend. It's just an awesome movie.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it now because I have 3 nephews and a niece.
Right.
And it's just really funny. I'm kind of looking for an Uncle Buck car.
Right.
To just kind of haul them all in, just throw them back there and just kind of cruise around the city.
Degenerate gambler. He's got the fix on the horse.
Take him to the horse.
Oh, it's funny. My favorite line is when Macaulay Culkin answers the phone and he's talking to his mom. He's like, he's busting my hump. Says I got to earn my keep.
Yeah, exactly. I'll throw that in my number 4.
I'll say that one as well. And interestingly enough, John Hughes discovers Macaulay Culkin in that movie, and he said, I got to put this kid in another movie. The next movie he's in is Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Which also on my list for my 3rd. Home Alone.
So that's your 3rd one?
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of those movies. What's great about the comedy in Home Alone is it's mostly slapstick, so it stands the test of time. Obviously, people would rip it apart now and say, oh, that could never happen now with cell phones and da-da-da-da-da.
Which they're still making a sequel for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think you just leave that one alone. But that's one that I watch every year in December. And that's something you should know about me. I do not watch Christmas movies or listen to Christmas music unless it's December.
Okay, I like that. I mean, you don't jump at the gun on the seasons, is what you're saying.
I think it makes me appreciate it that much more.
I like that a lot. That's very fair to me. So you're looking at 5 is Dutch, 4 Uncle Buck, 3 Home Alone.
Yes.
Okay. So my 3rd, I'm gonna go with Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just. Yep. The way that it's just so, it was a little outdated by the time I saw, you didn't quite have that kind of stereotypes, but they exist in one way or another in every high school you've ever been in. So I appreciate that.
Everybody can watch that and everyone can identify with one of those characters.
For sure.
In one way or another. So the legend goes with Breakfast Club was they were casting Breakfast Club. Molly Ringwald comes in, and John Hughes is just taken aback by Molly Ringwald. Something about her. Obviously, she becomes his muse. He makes a bunch of movies with her. But they were casting for Breakfast Club. And the reason he wanted to do Breakfast Club was he had said, I want to direct something that I've also written. So if I make it simple and I just make it one room and I keep it very low key, maybe they'll let me direct it too. So they were going to let him direct Breakfast Club, right? Molly Ringwald comes in. He goes home that weekend and writes 16 Candles and says,
wow,
we got to make this one first. So 16 Candles came out in 84, Breakfast Club in 85, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's the way it went.
That's a fun fact, Cons.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's good. But before we hop into the number 2 spot, I do want to talk about JP Graziano's the sponsor of this show.
You guys talk about this place, and I looked up the menu, and I'm wondering, can I get JP Graziano to send me a sub out here in New York?
Better yet, we got to get you out there. We got to, maybe next time, like the Army plays some Northwestern or something. We definitely, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but
no, that's a good chance that we would play Northwestern.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe basketball. It doesn't have to be football. It could be something like that. We got to get you out there. I really wonder. JP Graziano been there forever in the West Loop. Maybe he was in the background of one of these movies. I'm sure Jim over there will let me know. Yeah, so go check it out. Go get the catering. If you work in the West Loop, make sure you're catering from them. They got the salad trays, the antipasta trays, the dessert trays, whatever you want. The Mr. G Cons. That's what I recommend for you when you head out there.
Perfect.
So yeah, go to jpgraziano.com. Go get that ordered up, or go to 901 Restaurant and check them out. So Cons, take me into your number 2 spot.
All right, my number 2 spot, also a holiday movie, one that I'd never miss, Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
I mean, Clark Griswold just wants to have the best Christmas for his family, and he will go to the end of the earth for them. And it's just, it's funny. It's I keep saying relatable, but they're all relatable. Just so many one-liners out of Christmas Vacation too.
Just him fucking decking the place out with lights. Like it's like, come on, dude. Like, how many do you need on there? It's Christmas Vacation's a classic.
She's a beaut, Clark.
Yeah, she's a beaut. It's great. The squirrel, everything is just great with that. Great movie. I won't hate on a Chevy Chase classic. That's for sure. Number 2, like I said, I'm going to go Ferris Bueller, number 2.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, so many classic scenes, and it's just ultimately, like, that's what goes hand in hand with that in the Breakfast Club is, like, everyone's fake sick to not go to high school, and everyone's had a Saturday detention like that.
Yeah.
So it's just relatable, and it's just when you see them around the city that, I was born and raised, and those really hit home for me.
Right. And speaking of Breakfast Club, John Hughes makes a cameo in Breakfast Club, but if you blink, you'll miss it.
Really? Where was it?
He plays Anthony Michael Hall's father, so he's in the driver's seat of the car when Anthony Michael Hall gets dropped off.
Wow. No, I'm going to have to check that out next. It's always on TV.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Always.
It's great.
All right, we're moving into the number 1 spot.
It's got to be for me. I mean, like I said, any of these could be number 1.
Yeah, and we're not going to name so many that
I would have said Home Alone, but I would say 16 Candles probably.
So I got to get on it, huh?
Yeah. I think it's just something about it, man. The music, the story of it. Do you know the story of 16 Candles?
Can you give me the premise of that and Pretty in Pink? Because to me, they both seem interchangeable. I don't know, like they just seem like the same movie.
Pretty in Pink, Molly Ringwald plays like a girl from the other side of the tracks, and she's embarrassed that, she has a father that's kind of a mess, and she is trying to date the boy at school who has all the money, and it just doesn't seem like it should work. And then in 16 Candles, it's Molly Ringwald's birthday, and everyone forgets about it because there's everything else going on around her that seemingly is more important, and her family and her friends, and everyone forgets her birthday. And it's just relatable because I think at one point or another in high school, everyone wants that attention from somebody, whether it be their family, their friends, or in this case, the really hot guy in school. They just want to be noticed. And in the end, we'll see. I don't want to ruin it now, even though it's, I don't know, 30 years old. I won't ruin it for you.
No, it's fine. I mean, that almost sounds like sad. Like, I'm sure there's parts of it that are somewhat sad, but
ultimately
it works out.
Yeah, it works out.
It's a comedy teen movie. They all usually have happy endings.
Yes.
Well, that's the Breakfast Club, not really necessarily a happy ending.
Breakfast Club is more, I think, introspective than it is a comedy or dramedy, whatever you want to call it.
For sure.
It's an interesting look about fitting in high school and who you are.
For sure. I'm going to go my number one spot. It's cheating, but I don't care. I'm going both Home Alones.
Yeah.
Because I think 2 might be better.
Ooh.
And that's, it's a New York setting, but I
Right.
love number 2.
Right. And so what's interesting about Home Alone 2 comes out in 1992. 1991, he directed his last movie, and that was Curly Sue. Have you seen Curly Sue with Jim Belushi?
No, I've not seen that one.
Jim Belushi is...
I've seen parts of it, actually.
It's good. It's good. But then he just kind of like disappeared from Hollywood. So all of his credits after that, be it executive producer or a writer, he did it from his home in Chicago because people lost track of him. They didn't know where he was.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there were people that kind of had an idea of where he was, but he left Hollywood altogether. So it's just kind of interesting that he had all the success, obviously, tons of money, and he just walked away from all of it. He was known to have kept diaries, and he still wrote and wrote and wrote, evident by the fact you see all the movies he still wrote after 91. Beethoven, great movie. Home Alone 2. Dennis the Menace, sneaky good 90s
Very
movie
good.
with 1993.
Christopher Lloyd.
Lloyd, Leah Thompson.
Cracking open those beans. I'll never forget that. He was terrifying.
Yes.
That was a terrifying role he had.
It was, but he made me eat all those beans.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great movie,
man.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Leah Thompson was hot in that.
Yeah, she was. And then he was cutting those apples.
Yes.
That was I'll never forget both of those scenes. And yeah, that's also important to know too. He didn't direct all these. Like some of them, he just wrote.
Yeah. He either wrote or executive produced, and sometimes executive produce is just something that he put in the credits to give credit to someone that has a impact that isn't necessarily there day to day on set.
For sure. So how about this? I mean, this was fun. We're about near the end here. So we'll wrap it up, but maybe we'll get into some of these deeper. We'll do just Ferris Bueller, 15 minutes on that one day, and
that'd be great. I mean, because each of these
whole.
movies that we've just mentioned in our top 5,
you
could do a whole dog walk on.
Absolutely,
just the movie.
absolutely. So this is one of the few times where I feel it happens more often than not, where I feel like we're cutting it short. But regardless, we're
cutting it short, but we're setting ourselves up for the future.
Exactly.
For a full series of movies.
Exactly. So yeah, check this one out, and then Cons, we'll have you back on in the future.
I can't wait.
All right, I appreciate it, man.
All right, bang bang.
All right, that's it for today. We will catch you tomorrow.